Hi friends, my name is Emily and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a video that no one asked for, but I thought would be interesting just because my own reaction to this was surprise in a lot of the cases. I was just sort of doing a little bit of tidying up on my Goodreads and I realized that I never really touched the want to read category, which has 235 books in it. So I was quite surprised by what showed up on this list, and so I decided to stop because my intention was to tidy up and remove things and go through it with you folks. I mean, I guess at the end of this video you'll see what I kept on this list if you go to my Goodreads. I am going to go through and remove anything that I don't want to read anymore, that like really doesn't interest me, or anything that I have tried to read, or anything that belongs in another list, like my owned and unread list. So this should just be like an idea list in the end. So I think it might be fun just to share with you these. Now, a lot of the things that it looks like this is being sorted by the date it was added, and a lot of them are all added on May 29th, 2012, which is, I think, when I discovered Goodreads and started setting up the profile. And so it went through just being like, have you read these? Have you heard of these books? And so at the time in 2012, I should have been at the end of my second year of university, and so a lot of these texts would have come up. They're like books that well-read white male academics tend to talk about a lot. So the first book that we have in this list, starting at number 5, don't know where 1 to 4 went, but starting at number 5, is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kelsey, and I have no interest in that. Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I have tried to read and couldn't get into, and I unhauled it. I may come back to it at some other point in my life, but when I did pick it up, I just couldn't. I think I gave it a pretty decent shot too, like a third or halfway through the book, and I couldn't. A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. Again, one of those classic pieces that I have no interest in. Ulysses is the same. A lot of, again, men in a really pretentious way hold up this text, and I feel like I put this on this list because of that pressure of like the quote-unquote English canon, what you have to read to be considered well-read. And I really have no interest in that. It doesn't touch on any of my research interests at the moment. Pale Fire by Vladimir Nabokov. Again, just a name that I recognized. Lord of the Flies by William Golding. I'm a little torn on this one. I might leave this on the list for now. It's one of those classics that a lot of people have to read in high school, so it's a thing that a lot of people refer to, but do I need to read it, or can I just get like the Wikipedia plot synopsis and then go on to all of the interesting texts that play with this idea? I'm gonna leave it for now, but we'll see. We'll see if that is something that I decide. For Whom the Bell Tolls, again, no interest in white American men writing at this time. Again, for the same reasons, Charles Dickens, David Copperfield, not something I'm interested in. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley I have read, so I'm going to remove that from this list. Emma is still on my list to read, but it's on my owned and unread list, so it doesn't need to be on this list. Taming of the Shrew, I believe, is also on that owned and unread list. A Tale of Two Cities, again, no interest in Charles Dickens. Great Expectations, no interest. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou is one that I own, and it's on my owned and unread list, so that's gonna come off of here as well. Turn to the Screw by Henry James, I'm still interested in. It's one of those classic pieces of horror fiction that I'm still interested in. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I tried. My grandmother, I gifted these books to my grandmother, and she loved them. Absolutely loved them. She even asked for, like, because we share a lot of the times, she even asked for them back to read them a second time. That's how much she liked them. And I could not get into it, so I unhauled those ages ago. I have no intention of picking it up. Kite Runner, Again, I owned this book at some point and I unhauled it because I've lost interest in it, but it's so widely available that I feel like I got this. I feel like if I ever have the desire to read it in the future, I'll be fine. I have no idea what Beautiful Disaster Book 1 by Jamie McGuire is. Maybe I should leave that for now and look at it. A Thousand Splendid Suns was on there for the same reason that like Kite Runner was on the list. Going Bovine by Liv Bray is one I'm interested in. Eat, Pray, Love is not. Wicked is something I'm interested in. I've lost interest in Wally Lamb and Patrick DeWitt. Anne of Green Gables is on my owned and unread list. American Gods I have read. Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close is still on my list. Maybe that's Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood. I believe I put this on the list because I'd watched the film and liked it. I own Cujo. I don't know about Needful Things. Firestarter, Cell, Dead Zone, Thinner, Night Shift. Forest of Hands and Teeth. Interesting. I'll have to look at that. Gonna get rid of Zone 1 by Colson Whitehead. I don't know what that is. I think I own Gerald's Game. Flowers in the Attic is one I would like to read and I don't own. Gonna get rid of Maggie Stiefvater and Stargirl. I own Margaret Atwood Mad Adam. I'm getting rid of it. I have no interest in Joseph Boyden and his tentative ties to indigeneity that are like what he sells. I don't know what Tiger Lily is anymore. No interest in Jodi Picoult. I have to see what The Watch is. Forests? That sounds interesting. The Destiny of One. I Am Forbidden. I don't know what that is. 8 Girls Taking Pictures. To see what that is. This series of Undead and Unwelcome does not look like it's my jam. A Million Little Pieces I owned and unhauled after that controversy came out around that. Virginia Woolf to the Lighthouse I might keep. I've read other volumes by Poe, so I'm going to remove that. I'm not sure that I'm interested in this poetry collection, Child Made of Sand and Poems. Flowers for Algernon is still, I think, on my list. I don't own it. Anna Karenina I'm going to keep on the list. I don't know what the Sock Wars are. Or Illumine. Fields of Elysium. 100 Hearts. Again, I don't know what that is. Craving, that looks like a diet book. I don't know why that's on here. Return of the Bones sounds interesting. On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I tried and DNF'd and unhauled. Gluten is my bitch. I'm not gonna do that. The Duff. I've watched the movie. I don't super like the concept. You can see some of my gender studies courses influencing this here. So we have Pornography, Men Possessing Women by Andrea Dworkin, and Woman in Intimate Geography by Natalie Angier. Eating for Beauty, I don't have an interest in her. I'm gonna get rid of Al Purdy too. The Stone Angel by Margaret Lawrence. Oh, there's more Joseph Boyden. I've read Divergent. Flow, The Cultural Story of Menstruation. Might be interesting. Parasite, I'm gonna get rid of. Sheep Look Up, I'm gonna get rid of. Also, I should be looking at the ratings, I guess. If they have low ratings, probably not worth looking at. And then Run, I don't know what that is. Lies, Damn Lies, College. Oh, okay. Labor Pains. I don't know what that is. Ask the Passengers. I tried listening to the audiobook, didn't love it. Rebecca I have read. M has low ratings. She Code. Now that has really low rating as well. The Lynching of Peter Wheeler. The Troop. Joe Hill I own. Museum of Extraordinary Things. This is Alice Hoffman. I have never read an Alice Hoffman that I like, so I'm gonna remove that. Shades of Grey 2, don't know why that's on there. Anna and the French Kiss, I don't want to read anymore. I don't know what that is. Balloon Animals, I'm gonna remove. Ink Death, and all of these children's books I'm going to remove. Mad Adam I own. Dust in Sunlight. Camp Outlook. I have read White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Have I read Northwest or do I own Northwest? I think I own Northwest. The Wine Dark Sea I unhauled. I tried to get into it, just could not get into it. I'm gonna get rid of Margaret Haddock's. I have read The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett. I'm not super interested in Mark Z. Danielewski. Peter and Alice I am interested in. The Book Collector I'm interested in. A Portable Shelter, yes. The Faster I Walk, the Smaller I Am, yes. The Hungry Ghost Festival. Oh, I can see that I was watching probably I was watching like a Jen Campbell video evidently. Stargazer's Sister. Illuminae, not interested in. Me Before You, definitely not interested in. Night Moves I own. I don't know what that is. I own Come Thou Tortoise. I own Robin Hobbs. I think I own God of Small Things. All the Light We Cannot See I'm not interested in. This was recommended to me. At the Edge of the Abyss, a concentration camp diary was recommended to me when I was talking about Kids List and the Holocaust and education about the Holocaust, so that I'm gonna keep. I am not sure how I feel about Brandon Sanderson. These Garth Nix books I own. That sounds interesting. That, not so much. I have read The Lost Girls of Camp Forevermore. I think this is Kids Lit and I sampled it and I didn't super enjoy it. Perfume, I've heard poor things about. I went through and I have deleted. If we refresh, there are 110 books here, which is still a lot. I think I'm gonna go through and investigate some of these things that I have no idea what they are and see if they still want to be on this list. This feels like a good place to stop, and a lot of these things are on my women in horror like mood board. This is now a list of 26 books. So my question for you friends is there anything on this list that you think is not worth my time? If you've read it, do you know what I mean? Like, you know how some things are just so a part of the like popular culture, popular narratives, that the impact of the text has been ruined? Do you think there are any books on here where that is the case? I think the lowest thing is like maybe a 3.5 almost. Everything else, like these are all still pretty highly rated books. Actually, Henry James' Turn of the Screw is the lowest rated book with a 3.42. So yeah, that is significantly more manageable of like a books in my periphery, like books I'm thinking about list. Like the 235 that had just grown out of control made me completely not use this list at all. Let me know if there's anything on this list that you think that I should prioritize or should remove entirely. Not worth my time. Before we go, we have to thank my patrons who make videos like this possible. One of the patron perks right now is a patron exclusive book club with a live stream discussion, and the book that we are reading and discussing in March is Franny and Zoe by J.D. Salinger. This was submitted and voted on by patrons, and I'm excited. I'm excited because the one story sounds like it has some academia vibes, and I've just hit a series of books at this point, totally unrelated, totally unintentionally, that are set in universities, and I'm excited to pick up another one. If you are interested in joining in the book club, it's available to patrons at all tiers. So for as little as $1 a month, you can join in that and read along with us and join in the discussion. Let me know if you like this. There are definitely other lists on here that I keep, other bookish lists that I keep. I hope you are all having an excellent day, that you are staying safe, and I will see you soon. Bye.